To Kill a Mockingbird takes place in Alabama during the Depression and is narrated by main characters, a little girl named Scout Finch. Her father, Atticus Finch, is a lawyer with high moral standards. Scott and her brother, Jem, and their friend Dale are intrigued by local rumors about a man named Boo, who lives in the neighborhood but never leaves his house. Legend has it he stabbed his father in the leg with a pair of scissors once. And now everybody thinks he's some kind of monster. The children are curious to know more about Boo, and during one summer they decide to spy on him. Other mysterious things happen to the Finch children. A certain tree near Boo's house has a hole in it, which little presents are often left in it for them. Things like pennies, chewing gum, and soap. The children do not know where these gifts are coming from. When they go to leave a note for the mysterious giver, they find Boo's brother has plugged up the hole with cement. Later in the novel, we find out that Atticus wants to defend a black man named Tom Robinson, who is accused of raping a white girl named Melena, a member of the Ewell family who belongs to the layer of the Maycomb society that people refer to as trash. The Finch family faces harsh criticism and heavy racism Maycomb because of Atticus' decision to defend Tom, but Atticus insists on going through with the case because he knows that Tom is innocent. And he knows Tom has no chance at being acquitted because the white jury will never believe a black man over a white woman. Despite this, Atticus wants to reveal the truth to his fellow townspeople. Because Atticus is defending a black man, Scout and Jem find themselves whispered and taunted at, and have trouble keeping their tempers at times. The time for the trial draws closer, and Atticus' sister Alexandria comes to stay with the family for a bit. There is clear evidence that Tom is innocent, but unfortunately, the verdict is not the right decision, as Tom is trialed as guilty. But Atticus feels some sort of satisfaction because the jury took long deciding. Usually the decision would have been made in minutes because a black man's word would not be trusted. Atticus hopes for a repeal, but unfortunately Tom tries to escape from his prison and is shot to death in the process. Jem has trouble handling the results of the trial and feels like the trust in the goodness and humanity has been betrayed. Meanwhile, Mr. Ewell threatens Atticus and other people connected with the trial because he feels like he was humiliated. He gets his revenge one night when Jem and Scout are walking home from a Halloween party at their school. He follows them in the dark, then runs at them and attempts to kill them with a very large kitchen knife. Jem breaks his arm, and Scout, who is wearing a ham-shaped outfit, cannot see what's going on and is helpless throughout the attack. The mysterious monster Boo then stabs Mr. Ewell and saves the children. Finally, Scout has a chance to meet the shy and nervous Boo. At the end of the night, the sheriff declares that Ewell fell on his own knife, so Boo, the hero of the situation, will be tried for murder. Scout then walks Boo home, and then Boo goes inside, closes the door, and she never sees him again. Now, about the author. Harper Lee was born April 28, 1926. She died February 19, 2016. She went to Huntington College, University of Alabama, and Oxford University. Harper Lee is best known for writing her Pulitzer Prize-winning bestseller To Kill a Mockingbird. She also wrote a book called Go Set a Watchman, which portrays the later years of the Finch family. Harper Lee also helped a friend named Cupple Lee write an article for The New Yorker, which later evolved into his non-fiction masterpiece In Cold Blood. Harper Lee was the youngest of 4 children, and she grew up as a tomboy in a small town, just like in the novel how Scout is also a small tomboy. Harper Lee's father was a lawyer, just like Scout's Atticus, who was a lawyer in the story To Kill a Mockingbird. For the most part of Lee's life, her mother suffered from a mental illness, rarely leaving the house. It was believed she might have had a bipolar disorder. One of her closest childhood friends was another writer named Truman Capote. Tougher than most boys, Lee often stepped in to serve Truman as a protector. Truman, who shared a few interests with boys his age, was picked on for being sensitive and for the fancy clothes that he wore. In high school, Lee developed an interest in English literature. After graduating in 1994, she went to an all-female college. Lee stood apart from other students. She couldn't care less about fashion, makeup, or dating. Instead, she focused on studies and writing. Lee was a member of the Literary Honor Society and the Glee Club. Transferring to University of Alabama, Lee was known for being a loner and an individualist. She did make a great attempt at social life there, joining a sorority for a while. Pursuing her interest in writing, Lee contributed to the school newspaper and its humor magazine, The Rammer Jammer, eventually becoming the publication's editor. In junior year, Lee was accepted into University Law School, which allows students to work on law degrees whilst they're undergraduates. In 1949, a 23-year-old Lee arrived in New York City. She struggled for 7 years working as a ticket agent for Eastern Airlines. In July 1960, To Kill a Mockingbird was published and picked up by the Book of the Month Club. The following year, To Kill a Mockingbird won the prestigious Pulitzer Prize and several other literary awards. Lee earned 8 Academy Award nominations to the movie version, To Kill a Mockingbird. It also won 3 awards, including Best Actor. A classic American literature, To Kill a Mockingbird has been translated into more than 40 languages, with more than 1 million copies sold each year. In November 2007, President George W. Bush presented Lee with the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her outstanding contribution to American literary tradition at the ceremony at the White House. In 2007, Lee also suffered a stroke and struggled with various ongoing health issues, including hearing loss, limited vision, and problems with her short-term memory. But did you know To Kill a Mockingbird was the first novel that Lee published, but it wasn't the first one that she wrote. Her first book that she wrote was titled Go Set a Watchman, which followed the later lives of the characters from To Kill a Mockingbird, was submitted to a publisher in 1957. When the book wasn't accepted, Lee's editor asked her to revise the story and to make the main character Scout a child. The author worked on the story for 2 years and eventually became To Kill a Mockingbird instead. Sadly, Lee passed away on February 19, 2016 at the age of 89. Her nephew said she passed away in her sleep.